glory shone around upon FC Halifax town. Shimmy! 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 Shimmy!
Good afternoon, we're here with episode 4 of the SHAYCAST. How are we doing, chaps? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brilliant. And we are joined in the studio with a debut with Jake Teagle. How are we doing?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. So,
Good.
you've just started, how long have you been at Halifax Town for?
I've been at Halifax Town for it's been quite a while now, actually.
Mm.
I think this is my second proper year doing it, like proper getting sort of hands-on with everything.
Yeah.
But I'd been sort of helping out with the programme the year before. So I think it's my third year doing it now, and I'm absolutely loving it. Still as much as I did when I first joined in. So.
Yeah, good.
And are you from Halifax?
Yeah,
then, are you,
born and bred in Halifax. Yeah, so always had a sort of keen eye on the football club. So it was brilliant to be able to get the opportunity to sort of get on the media team. So.
Yeah.
So what's your kind of favourite part of being a part of the media team? Because we've got quite a few things going on. We've got filming, programmes, podcasting.
I particularly enjoy interviewing people. I think it sort of gives me a feel of how players are all like sort of just people there as well, and it sort of helps me boost my own sort of personal confidence to be able to speak in sort of public settings and things like that. And it's an experience, isn't it? Sort of that experience of being able to stand in front of a camera and say this, ask them the questions, things like that. So yeah, I think probably interviewing people. I really enjoy doing that.
And what's your kind of favourite part then throughout your time following Halifax? What's been your favourite moment?
I remember being very excited for my first away day. I think it was I remember my first away day very well because it was on a Boxing Day and we were at Macclesfield and it was absolutely freezing. I remember we went down. I think it were me, Kelly, and Chesh. I think most town fans know who Chesh is. That's how I got in through Chesh here. And I remember just sitting there with these gloves on. I'd bought myself some sort of like typing gloves so I could type on the. All we had was an iPad as well. We'd be very limited resources in a sort of open windowed press box, but I remember just absolutely loving the fact that I was sat there sort of on Twitter, running the Twitter account, thinking this is brilliant, isn't it? I remember doing that and just absolutely loving it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of where the love for media came from, and then you moved on from there.
Oh yeah, I think when I was younger I always wanted to sort of be a journalist, but I sort of strayed when I got sort of into my teens, sort of thinking, well, there are other options out there. But then as soon as I got a taste for it, I'm like, this is what I want to do, and my heart's set on it now. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
And we are, of course, joined with Tom from TS Media. How are you?
Yeah, good, very good, thank you.
You've been here for quite a lot, for 3 of the 4, so it's been good. It's been good so far.
So it was a shame to miss, obviously, the one with the gaffer. It was a very good podcast, if I may say. So, but yeah, I'm back now.
Brilliant. And what have you been up to then? You've been doing some stuff with a youth team, I believe, as well?
No, I couldn't get along last night, sadly. I did want to get over them and support the boys, but I've been working on some stuff that is to be released December time.
Yep.
So it felt a bit weird. It felt a bit weird, doing Christmas things around Halloween. So, but looking forward to it. There's hopefully some very good things coming for everybody to watch and enjoy. Christmas
Say with a smiling face,
I mean,
absolutely.
So we are working very hard behind the scenes, just to make everybody happy and carry on enjoying what a great season it has been so far.
Yeah, it's super exciting, the stuff we've got planned at the Christmas, isn't it? You've been working very hard. Obviously, we can't reveal much. But
my fingers have been burning on this.
Amazing. So, Jake, we've got a few updates this week in the club. I believe you've had a look at some of them.
Absolutely.
What have we got?
So, starting with got Pete's proper pub quiz. It's on the Wednesday, 20th of November. So it's down at the Potting Shed at Fountain Street, Halifax. Starts at 7 p.m. And this is the last time you can register a team for the pub quiz. You need to get on that very quickly if you are interested. It's free entry. You get some free gifts in there, free food, and there'll be a lot of giveaways from the sponsors with the shirts. Second one, the club put out a statement yesterday with a plan to consider further external investment, given its strong league position currently. Obviously, we're trying to push to get into the Football League. And the third and final one, there'll be a 2-minute silence prior to our game on Saturday for Armistice Day because we don't have a game the week afterwards. So that should all be that.
Brilliant. And youth team, what have we got going on?
Yeah, so the boys travelled to the Highbury Stadium last night in the first round of the FA Youth Cup. They went in at half-time 3-0 down, but put in an absolute valiant second-half performance. Fleetwood ended up adding 2 very late goals to win the game by, what would be described as a flattering 5-0. We had Max Hunter over there reporting on it for everybody, so I hope you tuned in, checked up on Twitter, and you gave the lads the support that they deserve. And secondly, it should be going out right about now. The gaffer Pete Wild has added some firepower to his attack. He's brought in Jack Redshaw. So the Salford-born striker joins us following a second stint with his hometown, where he racked up a total of 29 goals in 60 games for City.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be good to see him in a town shirt. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Brilliant. And would you say then that's an area where we've needed to kind of progress in up front? Because we are still one of the kind of more. We have scored the one. We are one of the clubs that scored the most goals. But would you say that's an area that we really need to improve on, based on?
Look, it's been clear to see to everyone this past month we have struggled to score. We've only managed 3 goals in the whole of October. Yes, it has been due to teams sitting back on us, making it harder for us to score. But you can never have enough options, to bring on, to change the game and to attack teams. So I think, it was needed. It's a different option, a different avenue for Gaffer to look down. But credit where it's due. The lads have been working their socks off. You can see that Toby Shaw-Silva every game he plays, and until he can't play no more. But it is good to have that other option. What do you think, Jake?
I think, just as Tom said, it's always good to have options, especially in and around the team, because when a game can change in a minute, you can bring on one sub and he can change the game, flip it on its head. You always need something to try to break down the defence, and as you said, being how well we played before this month. Teams have obviously come with a different game plan to what they usually would against a team that weren't at the top of the league. So obviously went for them 3 games, we hadn't scored a goal. Finally broke that sort of spell. And I think it's always good to have options, and I think he will be fitting really well in here. So
that means our attacking, we've obviously got Toby Shaw-Silva, Dale Southwell, and then obviously the new Redshaw as well. And obviously another player that did come back, Josh McDonald from Whitley Bay.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. On his post-match interview on Sherman TV, a little plug there, he did mention that it's done him a world of good to go away on loan, and now he's ready to kind of fight for the club. Is it a good time for him to come back to FC Halifax Town?
Absolutely, yeah. Like he says, he's gone away. He's regained that competitive edge. That when he came back, slightly missing. I think it's great. He's put in a fantastic performance against Sutton. From what I've heard from Lewis, unfortunately I couldn't get to the game, but I listened to it, and he assisted the goal to Ducky, and what a celebration he put in.
we'll have a look at that in a minute.
Honestly, I think there could not be a better time for him to come back to the club. I mean, I spoke to him when he came off the bench for the first time, or when he made his first appearance after coming back, and the sort of response that he got from the town fans. So you can see he's widely liked by the fan base, because he's a very good winger, a very good crosser of the ball, and I think the loan spell always does well for a player like him. And said the club now, sort of spirit and the team spirit we've got, it could not be a better time for him to get straight back into some action in the National League.
Yeah,
brilliant. Well, speaking of football, we have had 2 games in the past week. two contrasting results. Obviously, a 5-0 drubbing at Bromley, but obviously a 1-0 victory at Sutton, both in the capital. So we'll just have a quick look at them highlights and go from there.
Bromley kick off and the game is underway all the way back to Chris Bush, who launches it forward, headed down by Cheek. Into the box now is Coulson, brings it down on the right. Anyone really knew what was happening. Bromley crosses deep. Bush kept in by Hackett Fairchild, click down. Swat the missed it. He scores on the ball. And he just follows it into the left hand side of the goal. A Bromley score. Sam Johnson really not happy with the ref there. Not sure what he's saying. He's gone home to have a word with him.
It seemed like lies too high, but and it looked like Sam Johnson had it, must have taken the deflection, and next thing I know he's dived to the right late for the spot. We'll get one soon before the next 5 minutes. He's trying to get us back going again, along with Clark. Yeah, well, the pushing. That's making the sense, he knows what might be coming.
He's still down on the floor.
But I think now. Yeah, he's off.
Down. Here it is. Coulson. Wood chips into the box. Free header. Good save by Sam.
Out of the stadium. Just even a yellow card for that now. The referee, there we are.
The score's out of that, isn't it? 5-0.
So off we go. Halifax attacking from right to left in this first half, forcing Sutton to attack towards their favourite end of the ground. Here's King, McDonald, and that's the goal, and that's Duckworth. Halifax, Sutton in the last chance saloon this evening, and there goes the full-time whistle, which signals a 5th defeat in the last 6 for Sutton United. Michael Duckworth with the goal.
Well, that was the 2 games that we've just seen with Bromley and Sutton United, both in the capital and both away from home. 2 contrasting results. But I've got to say, Michael Duckworth's celebration, where did that come from?
I didn't think he had it in it.
I don't think anybody did. I think maybe a few of the players, been telling a few of the players, I'm going to do it. If I score, I'm going to do it. Like, yeah, whatever you say, mate, whatever you say. But he's finally done it. I mean, it's fantastic. One of the best celebrations I've seen down at Halifax.
I did see, obviously, that he was at Hartlepool. And I did see that they did tweet and say, did he do it? And did he?
Seems he's always had it in his locker then.
Yeah.
One of the best bits, wasn't it? It was amazing, you know, a goal as well, a victory, and then Michael Duckworth's celebration, Josh McDonald's assist.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant game, wasn't it?
Ducky's first for the club as well, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get him on that scoring roll.
He'll be up front by any time soon. And then obviously did you go down to the Bromley game as well? Let's just touch on it a little bit.
I did. Yeah. Do you know what? The first half wasn't bad at all. It was decent. And then second half, in Gaffer's words, we just capitulated. And I did say last week I didn't want to dwell on this, and again, we've reacted well. You know, we've gone away another long journey down to Sutton in midweek, and we've got that reaction we needed. So that's all I want to say on the matter. We've seen the highlights. Can't take it away from them. Bromley played well, but you know we got got that win from against Sutton, and we've got Torquay coming. So let's see if we can get a second win on the bounce.
Yeah, we kind of need to get that form back up, because we're still second. We're doing all right, chasing Bromley.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what do you think, Jay? Getting that.
You say you don't want to really dwell on the Bromley result, do you? Because no one likes losing. No one likes losing as it is, but never mind that amount of goals. But I think one thing you've got to keep in mind as well is how brilliantly the team reacted to that, because that could, in any instance for any team whatsoever, that could kill their mood for months to come. And the way they've come back might have been a bit scrappy down at Sutton, but you've got the victory.
Yep.
You've got back to winning ways, and it's just, I think it's a testament to the team spirit instilled in the squad here. It's just it's a fantastic thing to be able to bounce back like that, especially, you know what I mean. So,
well, that's it. We had Hansen make his first start of the season as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
In the absence of Jerome, so it was good. Like Gaffer said, he was going to shake things up. He did, and it paid off. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Torquay, especially now we've got that extra attacking firepower in. Like you said, Jack Redshaw's in. Yeah. We've got Dale, we've got Toby, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Jack Earing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Jack Earing.
There were loads of people, weren't they, on?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've only just been sent the footage today, so I haven't had a chance to watch the game, which I will. But apparently, listening to Lewis, he was just different class. So it's good to see Jack putting in a performance like that, and staking a claim to be playing.
Well, would you say that Pete might have a bit of a headache then in terms of selection, with Jacob Hansen playing really, really well on that, as a defence, and then obviously Jack Earing doing really, really well, as you mentioned? Do you reckon he's got a bit of a selection headache?
Yeah, I think you'd call it a selection pleasure more than a headache, because to be able to have that sort of squad at your disposal, when players are playing that well, and I think it's a fantastic thing for the club. But I think Pete will do what he knows is best, what he knows, who he knows will play best against certain teams. When he can mix it up, when he can't mix it up, knows where to play players in certain situations. So I think it's a really, really good thing for the club.
I mean, do you echo that as well? Or?
Absolutely, yeah. Again, the way I see it is, when you've got a headache, as you call it, like this, it's not a bad headache, is it?
No, I suppose I should call it that. What you said, a pleasure, should I say? Yeah, not as a headache. We won't call it that, but a pleasure. Fair enough. Yeah, but the kind of point I was making is that he's got so many players, even on the bench now, to speak to bring on as well, that could replace, players that are on, starting 11, start on the field.
Well, that's it. It's that kick up the butt, isn't it? You're not guaranteed your shirt. We saw that Toby put in a great performance, scored 2 goals. The next game he wasn't picked. So there are people fighting to get in that starting lineup, and why wouldn't you want to?
It's never a bad thing at all. No. Never a bad thing. And you think, especially with the next sort of 2 months coming up, towards back end of December, you've got that festive period absolutely. As well. So you need all the firepower you can get, and if players are clawing to get away back into team, it can only yield good results for everyone.
Well, that's it. We've got Matty Brown to come back as well. We've got Cameron King to come back. And Niall Mars just come back, so he's wanting to really push himself. Yeah. It's these lads. It was a blip. Touch wood. It was a blip.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a blip, and you can see these lads really want to turn around what has been a fantastic start into this little slump in October. But I tell you what, if we have this slump now and we carry on the rest of the season how we started it, then it's going to be a great season.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of Matty Brown, obviously we've had one player that has kind of filled in centre back, Josh Staunton, who is outside. So we'll bring him in, and we'll be able to talk to him about his new position while he's filling in for the injured Matty Brown. So stay tuned for that. So we are back in the studio and we're joined by none other than Josh Staunton. How are we doing?
Hi boys, you alright?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, good. You've travelled from Leeds, I believe.
Yeah,
Quite far away.
Good 25 miles and 5:30. Thank you. No, that wasn't too bad. Nice steady journey, wasn't bad one.
Brilliant. And off air, we had a first question, so we might as well get this one out of the way, Tom. And a lot of fans did obviously ask this as well. So, Tom, off you go.
I was obviously doing some research, Josh, before I got here, and I must say my favourite bit of research was your hair. That Charlton photo with your long hair was a personal favourite of mine. Can we see a return? No, I'm joking.
I've been here 10 minutes. Everyone here already. No, look, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
I'm sure my mum will be loved. My mum's probably listening, and she'll be sitting there saying, "Oh my god, they're talking about his hair already." This isn't a choice. I blame my dad.
But did you say you had a ponytail? Or
I could. I had long, believe it or not. No one here seen me like it, but I had long curly hair, like Colaccini from Newcastle, kind of.
Oh, nice.
Kind of big thick locks. Like my middle brother now, still, my brother Sam, he's still got it. Like you might see him at games. You've probably seen him at a couple of games. Yeah, he's got long curly hair, so he's still sporting it. But unfortunately,
Got
I don't know where it all went. Stressful career.
Brilliant.
No, honestly, I saw the photo. I was like, no.
Yeah.
That was
Senior
amazing.
football. Senior football's done me wonders.
No, brilliant. But let's just start with you as a kind of footballer. So where did you start your career at? It was
as a real kid, I was messing around playing with my brother at a team called Canterbury Eagles back home.
Oh, wow.
And got picked up at Gillingham really young, probably because I was quite big for my size. And I was playing with my brother, like I said. So at 6 I went to Gillingham, and I stayed there till I was 19. So basically grew up there, knew everything about the club, knew everyone at the club. And then at 19, after a first year pro, didn't get offered a new deal. Signed for Charlton. Had a year at Charlton, where the great picture came from. And then stagnated in the under 21s at the time. Had 5 or 6 managers in that one season at Charlton, believe it or not, and just kind of yo-yoed between training with the first team and back with the 21s. So didn't get, well, after discussion, didn't really get offered a new deal because wasn't really going anywhere there. So went to Dagenham and had my first actual season in senior football as such, where we had a successful year, lost in the playoff semi-final, and then went to Woking, where complete other end of the spectrum, saw the bottom of the league, and then that year I signed for Halifax. That's basically me in a nutshell, my career in a nutshell, really. So
when did you kind of know that you were going to make it as a professional footballer?
I wouldn't say I've made it by any stretch of imagination. But when did I realise it was going to be a career? I think when you get to about 16, you make a decision. I used to play cricket for Kent, so I had a choice really whether I wanted to focus on cricket or football. And when you go 16, you go full time in like a scholarship environment at Gillingham, which was hard. I worked under Martin Allen, which was relentless. Yeah, you say that again. But I think that's when you really you step out of school, and it becomes every day. Like you realise football isn't the fun and games you thought it was when you're a schoolboy, messing around, training twice a week. Do you know what I mean? So you see a different side of it, and I think that's why a lot of boys either fall out of the game by their 18, 20s, or you stay in it because you see a completely different side of it, and you have to you make a decision whether you want to stick with it and try it out and do the best you can, or you go and find something else, really. So I'd say as a scholar was really when you really opened your eyes and you decide, well, I'll give it a real go.
Brilliant. And so as kind of potential new players that might want to get involved, what kind of advice would you give them?
I think you've got to enjoy it, especially as a youngster. Like as a real kid, you've got to go and train in and want to enjoy it, because definitely as you get older and older, it's a great job. Don't get me wrong. Like you're playing football every day, but it's not all fun and games. There's a lot of ups and downs, and the downs can be really down. Like I've been relegated, so I know I've been in them downs, and it is hard. So you have to try and enjoy it while you can, and then I think you got to put it into perspective. At the end of the day, it's a game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've got my best mate at home battling cancer for the third time.
Okay.
It is a game, and if you look at it like that, I think you're going to get a lot more out of it, and you play with a lot more freedom, and you take that stress off you, because there is a hell of a lot of it. You know what I mean? You got every Saturday you walk onto that pitch, you feel like you got 2,000 people's weekends on your hands. You know what I mean? If you have a bad, as silly as it sounds, if you have a bad weekend, you can ruin it for everyone in that stadium. So it's hard, and you got to try and enjoy it. But I would try and say, John Steele once said to me when I was 21 signing for Dagenham, never too high, never too low. It's a career that goes up and down. You want to try and flatline somewhere in the flatline somewhere in the middle. Try and go up, but you don't want to keep riding the waves and then crashing every time you lose. So try and stay level-headed and just take it as it comes.
Brilliant. So what's kind of been your kind of major achievement so far? Would you say, or thing that you're most proud of?
Probably my high, I wasn't even involved in. When I was at Gillingham, I saw Gillingham. I was 17 at the time, so I was full time, but I wasn't a playing senior player. Do you know what I mean? But that season we got promoted at Gillingham from League Two as champions, and it was the whole seeing everyone's face was just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? And that's when you realise what football can do for a community, really. Because Gillingham, I've seen it in bad times, and that I'll never forget Wimbledon. Keds smashed it in, made it 2-2. Secured the championship and everyone's faces. But me personally, I'd probably say playing for England when I was at Woking, Captain England was at this level was as high as I've been so far without really winning do you know what I mean, like the league or anything. So
well, not yet anyway. We'll see how that goes. Touchwood, yeah, exactly.
But that was definitely high, and gives you a glimpse of what life's like, because they treat you really well on them tours. So
so that's kind of ties into the next with leading England out with the C team as well. That must have been a special moment. But how did that come about? Did you get a phone call? Or just
I was playing at Woking, and basically didn't really know anything about it at the time, and we were probably doing well. I think we were right near the top, and just got a phone call off Tom. I don't know what his role is within the FA, but he just lets you know that you've been picked for the squad, and basically it goes on from there. But the first time I went training and got injured, so I actually missed a game the first time I went, which was gutting, because you don't know when that chance is next going to come round. But fortunately, I had a steady season. Although we got relegated, I performed quite well myself, and got selected again. And it is just literally just a phone call. You don't really know much about it till it happens.
Brilliant. And so leading the England C must have been good, as well as playing for Woking at the same time.
Yeah. To be fair, I think again the game I captained was against Ireland, and it does. It feels special, even though it's only this level. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're getting hundreds of loads of fans, but it's still wearing the England badge on your shirt.
Absolutely.
It is something which if I never done it again, I'd be very grateful for that memory. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. And who's been your kind of inspiration then? Because you're still kind of young in your career, so you've still got a lot to look forward to. You
sound young. I've got a story about. I'll tell you that story in a while.
But who's been your inspiration to move you forward?
When I was at Gillingham and I started as a scholar, Adam Barrett had just signed. I don't know if any of you know, and he was Southend captain for years. Big. At League One Championship level, he was a good pro, and he was, I think, 35 when he signed for Gillingham. Right. And I got put on his boots as a youngster, and he was club captain, so straight away I built up a great relationship. And he was a centre half where I was at the time, and he wasn't massive. He was only 5'11", I think, just scraping 6 foot, so he wasn't massive. And I saw a lot of him myself in him. I thought, if I can emulate his career, I'm not gonna be too far off. Do you know what I mean? So he was definitely a role model, and he was good. He took me under his wing. Do you know what I mean? He didn't have to. I was a 17-year-old boy learning my trade. He didn't have to, but he would pull me to the side and say, like, "Oh, you got any questions?" kind of thing about, and it helped a lot, and it gave me an inkling of what I would want to be like as a senior pro. Do you know what I mean? Hard when you need to be hard, but at the end of the day, you're there. Your career's coming to an end. It's nice to see other people try and step into your shoes.
Yeah.
and keep you moving forward as well. You've got some experience in the dressing room with Nathan Clark. You know, he's done a lot of stuff as well, and you've obviously working with Matty Brown as well. So I mean, how's the dressing room at Halifax?
It's good. It's not as senior as other dressing rooms I've been in, but and we've got different types of personalities in this changing room. Like other clubs, like when I was at Dagenham, we had Luke Guttridge, who was a real senior pro, and he was off the pitch. You'd never stop seeing him laughing. Do you know what I mean? But on the pitch, Jesus Christ, he's like a 5'3" little animal. Do you know what I mean? and we've all had some tear-ups with him in our time on the training pitch. But it was nice to see different aspects of senior pros. But Clark is good. Clark is someone who's been there. What's he played 500-600 league games?
Yeah, he's been.
You know what I mean? So not many people are going to be able to do that. So he's probably seen most things in the game. Yeah. He's seen more than I could even dream of seeing. So it's important that as a young player, even still now, I'm still learning. So it's important you try and take ideas off them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got no shame in going and seeing Clarky and saying, Clarky, I'm struggling with this aspect of my game.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because he might not have an answer, but seeing it through different eyes, it helps. And Brown is the same. Brown is a bit more of the they work well together. Bit good cop, bad cop. Brown is a lot harder than Clark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Clark is a nice guy, but Brownie's always joking around. But when he needs to be, he knows when to put his foot down there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We asked some of the fans as well some of the questions, and you have moved down into centre back, or moved back to centre back.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you prefer to play, or do you still prefer CDM?
Do you know what, funny enough, I've been thinking about this one a lot really, but if you'd have asked me this last year, I'd have said I'm desperate to play centre back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm desperate. But last year I didn't enjoy playing in midfield. I found it hard. It was completely new to me, and the role I was playing was a real gritty role. Like, you're never going to walk off the pitch and someone's going to say, "Crush, you had a good game," because it was tough in there. Like, trust me. And you were probably only appreciated by the 5 people standing behind you, because it was real grim. Like, it was hard as a midfielder not to go and make the box, not to go and try and get in the box, and that's why if you'd have asked me that, I'd have probably gone back to type and said, I definitely want to be a centre half. But I've played it this season with a bit more freedom, in the sense that I can go and get the ball if I want to go and get the ball, or pick and choose my times. Like, I should have. I've had some good chances this time. This year I've missed some good chances already.
You scored a goal though.
I've scored probably the easiest. To be fair, it's probably one of the hardest ones. Running about 85 yards. But I'm enjoying breaking. I was enjoying when I was playing that. I was enjoying driving trying to drive forward a bit and mix up if you want to. You know what I mean? It wasn't quite such a rigid position, which I always felt is how midfield should be played. You should have you should go and make the box, because at the end of the day you're playing in the middle of the pitch, not just sitting there to protect. But that's each person's different tactics. Can't argue with that. Do you know what I mean? So, but I do like playing centre half. I do like playing. I think if I had an absolute giant alongside me, it'd probably be easier. That's no disrespect to Clarky, but when we're both standing at just under 6 feet, he's probably 6'1". It's not the easiest when you've been used to having Brownie stand there at 6'4", dominating the air and the ball in the air, because we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and unfortunately, as much as I'll compete in the air, I'm never gonna be Matty Brown in the air. So it's important that you understand what you're good at, and I try and stay out of them big aerial duels, because I'd rather just drop off and try and win the ball than compete and be out of the game sometimes. Because, like, when I played against Yeovil, I don't think I've seen a bloke as big as that. I think the gaffer pulled me before. I was marking from corners that goal up front, and he said, Staunton, he's about your height. I've got a picture on my phone. He's about 4 foot big. So, but I think it's important, like you realise what you're up against, and at centre half, it's always a different challenge every game. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in midfield, you can try and impose yourself more. Whereas as a centre half, you can't really go, and you have to adapt your game to who you're playing against. Because if I'm playing against someone 6 foot, I'm 6'4", I'm going to play against someone different if he's 5'9". Do you know what I mean? So it takes sometimes takes your natural instinct out of the game. But look, I like playing centre half. Don't get me wrong. I like getting on the ball at centre half, because you get a lot of time on the ball. But I've definitely enjoyed playing midfield, and to be honest, I'm looking forward to getting back in there.
Getting back in that midfield.
Hopefully, getting back in midfield, and hopefully add a few more goals. To my talent.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, Gavin did ask, what do you see as your best position in the team? So is it midfield then? Is it?
Well,
up front.
I don't think that's a question for me to answer. My best position, I wouldn't know.
What would you, if your personal preference?
My personal preference. If I had Brownie and Clarkey behind me every day of the week, I'm not going to be too disappointed. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got the best of both worlds with them two. I've got a real big grappler and a clever. So I think for the team, it's probably more beneficial, maybe. And I'm not like me and Brownie would probably be better suited than me and Clarkey playing together, just because of what we are as players, and that's no disrespect to Clarkey.
No,
I like having them behind me. In a sense, for the team, I'd probably at this moment in time, I'd probably play myself in midfield and have them two senior boys behind me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I suppose a final one from me. Saul also asks, what's your favourite memory so far as a Halifax Town player?
What's my favourite memory? It's a hard one, because I didn't really play much last year. I didn't really have many great memories last year, because when I did play, it wasn't always the greatest results. Or
are you living it at the moment? Because obviously we're
I'm really enjoying having a good run in the team. I think I've played 20 in a row now.
Yeah.
Which last year I probably played more now already by this season than I did in the whole of last year.
Right.
So I'm enjoying it, and it's nice to be at the right end of the table.
Yeah.
And just keep trying to take points where we can and see where you end up at the end of the season, really, because I think it's important at this time of season that I think we got to realise, like, you don't win the season now. You don't win the league in October or November. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as I've said to a few boys, as long as we're in that pack, you never know. All we need to do is put a few runs together at the right end of the season, not in December, end of December, January, when people start dropping off. Just want to try and make sure we're not one of them just ones dropping off and just staying around there. So I would say I'm living my best time, best part at the moment. But there was some good games. Obviously, I thought Leighton Orient last year was a great atmosphere, and we were unlucky not to come away with 3 points, and that was a high. I had a decent game that day. So so that was probably my one out and out high so far.
But we're starting to get more than 2,200 at the Shay, so we're getting quite a few more fans in than from last season.
That's football, isn't it? If we can, the better we do, the more people are going to bring through the door. And obviously, we had a couple of tricky games at home, but I think it's throughout the season you're not going to win. If it was that easy to go and win a game, teams would be putting 10, 11 win streaks together all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not that easy to go out and win it. Whatever everyone thinks, it is 11v11 and unfortunately this level, you don't know what 11's going to turn up sometimes.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds.
Because
it's easy. We're not. Do you know what I mean? You can go and play Man City, and 9 times out of 10 they're all going to win the league. Whereas everyone, in this league, you have to look at what's happened already in this league. Like when we played Wrexham, what was it, third game of the season? For 45 minutes, they were one of the best teams I've ever played against at this level.
Oh, really? Okay.
For 45, they moved us around places I didn't know were on a football field. And now to see them in 22nd, 21st place,
somewhere down there.
It shows how difficult this league is.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, we as a group of players, staff, fans, as a club, don't get too disheartened when two or three results don't go away, because at the end of the day, all it takes is 3-4 results to nick ones you shouldn't win, and everyone's lifted again. So it's important we, like I said, like John Steele said, he's right. It's important that we stay never too high, never too low. Absolutely. And just keep ticking along. That's all. That's that one really.
Well said, brilliant. Tom, I believe you've got a few.
I do. Obviously, listening into when you were talking about your career and where you've come from, and before you joined us, the furthest north you played your club football was Dagenham and Redbridge.
Yeah.
Why did you come to Halifax?
Do you know what? It's never easy when you've been relegated with a team, because especially as a defender, it looks bad on you. I had a few options. And the two what stuck out were Halifax and Dover were my two main options.
Oh, okay.
So I could either stay right close to home.
Yeah.
and at the time I think it was part-time, I think that, or kind of part-time, but I think they were in transition of going part-time, and I thought I was at the stage of my career where I need to step outside of my comfort zone, to be honest, and it's not always good playing right on your front door.
Yeah.
And I started completely afresh up here, do you know what I mean? Didn't know anyone in the team.
Yeah.
I had a chance to state my claim, and it was an option. Halifax is a big club, everyone knows it's a big club, do you know what I mean? You come to the Shay, I remember coming to the Shay at Dagenham in the FA Cup, and I walked out and went, Jesus Christ, what's this team doing in Conference North at the time?
Yeah.
So everyone knows it's a big club, and it's got the potential to be a big club. So
yeah,
especially turning full time when I signed, I thought this was definitely the right move for me, because I saw it as a big opportunity, and I knew if we could get on the right end of results, it could be a real good club to be at, where the fans could really buy into it, and so that's why I chose Halifax. Basically.
Yeah. No, it just when I saw that and obviously you speak to it was just very interesting.
I was tempted to stay in the warm.
I
bought a big coat and came up.
I just have one more question, and it's come from Nick T, and he asks why. He says, "Why aren't
I know this one.
You know it already.
I know this one."
He says, "Why aren't you doing the podcast topless, well, like you did your gym session today?"
Well, because me and Cam have been doing gym together, and we've worked out. We've been watching videos of people doing gym session, and I've said, I reckon you must be able to lift 10% heavier if you've got no top on.
Right, okay.
So you must feel stronger. So we've been trying out this thing that if you take your top off, you're going to feel stronger, and you can actually lift a bit heavier. So that's our theory. Whether
does it work?
I did go from flying 12.5s today to 15s. So whether that's 10%, nearly at the 10%. But even the boys are adding into it. Danny Williams has said there's 5. You get another 5% if there's a mirror. So.
Really?
That's what we're trying out. Yeah. So we're trying to squeeze these extra percentages out of us.
Right. What about if you get a selfie? Is that an extra?
That's not really my game. That one. There's a few boys in the team who would. Don't get me wrong, but that's not me.
Well, the gym's not my game, so I can't speak.
No, not mine either. That's why I'm behind a laptop.
But yeah, that's why, to squeeze them 10% extra out. That was our theory behind it.
Well, there you go, Nick. You've got your answer there.
Yeah. And it was warm in the gym.
Brilliant. And Jake, do you have
as you were saying, so when you came up to Halifax, thinking it's a massive club, and I mean, we've proven that. I think if National League North playoff final at 8,000 against Chorley, I think that's still a record in that. And I think when you think about sort of football we're playing at the moment as well under Pete Wild, it's just the confidence is there, even coming back off of a poor result. So what is it that happens with Pete Wild? How does he go about sort of reinstilling confidence potentially after a loss?
Do you know, he's a decent bloke. He's a nice bloke. He's easy to talk to, and I think he's just pretty calm bloke, and I think because he earns that respect, personally, I think players are willing to go out and do anything what he says, really. So I think especially at the Shay, it's a massive pitch. It's huge. So if you can get playing football, it's definitely the place to play, especially while the rugby players are off it. Touch keep them boys off it, and we'll be playing better football. But I think he's a good manager. He gets his message across to us quite nice and easy. So and John is fun. He's quite fun to play for. He gives us a fair bit of freedom.
Oh, so I've heard someone describe him as just one of those lads down the pub.
Just
a normal lad.
Bloke, who people are willing to work hard for. I
think that's fantastic, isn't it? Because it always brings that sort of team spirit in.
Yeah, definitely.
You never go wrong with it.
Exactly. I don't think it's a case of us and them as a management. So I think it's all one group. So definitely,
fantastic. Fantastic there.
Brilliant. And so I've got to ask you, what's the biggest difference then between the north and the south? What's the biggest challenge that you faced? Obviously, moving from the south is a big difference, I'm sure. Yeah,
it's definitely a few degrees cold up there. I don't care what anyone says. It's definitely chilly. Them winters definitely, especially when you got a head like this. Them winters hit hard. But what's the biggest difference? The people, on the whole, the people are definitely nicer up here. I remember when I first moved up, I was shopping in I don't know, Morrison's, what I think it is, and some bloke stopped spoke for me for ages, and the southerner in me came out. I was thinking, just go away.
Oh really?
Just
That's not how we do it up here.
yeah, I thought, God, what are we talking about? After about 30 minutes, I thought, God, yeah, I want to go home. but yeah, I don't think that sort of thing happens down south. So I'd definitely say people are a lot nicer. I tell you what, though, Northerners moan. All the Northern boys, Christ, do they moan? Don't stop moaning.
Well, as you said, it's a few degrees colder up there. We've got a right to moan about, haven't we? Yeah.
I think you boys will find anything to moan at. Just think, Jesus, that's one massive difference. Love and moan Northerners. Really do.
Oh, that we do.
What have you thought about the cuisine then? The Yorkshire puddings, all that kind of stuff up here.
Yeah.
You know, the pie and gravy.
Carveries are definitely bigger Yorkshires and stuff. Yeah, the food. Do you know what was the fish and chips? I'd never had curry sauce until I come up here on fish and chips.
What? Is it gravy?
Never even had gravy. Just had fish,
fish and chips,
salt.
Oh man.
And I don't think I could go home now and have fish and chips with no gravy, with no
honestly.
curry sauce.
No.
Thought fish and chips without curry sauce is making me feel sick.
Fish or your chips into something. What is it?
I'll ask
that.
So we would call it a butter.
Chip sandwich.
Yeah.
I'd call it a roll.
A roll. Ooh.
Oh, right,
A roll.
okay.
Yeah. Or like the roll you put it in.
Yeah, people like call it like a bar.
Yeah, Tomo
Yeah,
Tomo used to eat some strange things last year. Christ, what? I can't remember what it was called. Some weird thing. It was like sausages, chips. Oh God! Someone's gonna have to write it and tell me that. Some northern thing. I can't remember what it was called. God,
meat pies are quite popular.
It looked revolting, whatever it was.
And mushy peas as well. That's
my dad's a Barnsley boy, so he
oh
always
really?
used to have mushy peas. Yeah, but I think that was about as northern as we got at home. But
right.
But now curry sauce, I'll be taking that one with me. Yeah.
So was it a big challenge then coming up here?
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it was
such a young age.
It was massive. I was 23. I'd lived away from home when I was at Charlton. I lived in a flat, but never far enough away from home that you couldn't go home. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not just a case of just nipping home if I want. And at the start, it was hard. And when you're going through tough times, like we would have harder times for personal reasons. And being away from my family, it was hard. But it's something I think it grows you as a person. I think definitely does. And in some ways, it makes you a stronger character. So. And like I said, I felt like it was the right time in my career to do it. So
it's definitely a right move then.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I had kids, I wouldn't want to be coming up. No, do you know what I mean? If you have a family at home, but it was hard. It was hard saying goodbye to everyone, and sometimes it even gets harder saying goodbye now. Now you know you're coming back. I just think, when's the next time I see everyone? I've got my little nephew home, and I think, when am I going to get to see him again? But that is the life of a footballer.
Get up much?
My nan still lives in Barnsley, so
right, nice.
My dad comes up a fair bit to visit her, and like my brother brings his little nephew up, and my brother and his fiance come up, so it's nice to see them all. And Leeds is a nice city, so when they come over, they like coming to Leeds. Like my dad comes and plays golf for me when he's up.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's definitely nice. It's definitely
good
nice
stuff.
So if you didn't become a footballer then, because you were at the golf day as well that we had during
I wasn't. No.
Was it okay.
I was going to.
You were going to, that was it. That was it.
I was at home. I went home that day, so unfortunately it was one of the last chances before the season really started to get see my family. So I stuck with them. But I would have liked to have played in it. Yeah. So
but so if you wasn't a footballer, then what do you envision yourself?
What would I have been?
Oh, what would you have been? Yeah, exactly.
What would I have wanted to be?
Yeah, that's
can't
it.
have Peter Crouch's answer now.
What would I? I know. I always liked playing cricket. I was quite decent at cricket, and it was something I would have liked to have pursued, but I think a lot of them boys are like private school boys, and parents are on the board, so it's a bit clicky in that sense.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I probably would have just stayed at school and been, God knows what by now. I have no idea.
no idea whatsoever. You've been focused on kind of being a footballer.
I was so focused on being a footballer. I didn't really give it any second thought. I mean, like, my mum's made me start a uni degree now.
Oh, really?
So I'm currently in the process of starting that, which should give me something to fall back on. I've been fighting her off for years. I've managed to keep her at bay at arm's length for years about that, but she's finally won me over. I think I'm finally grown up enough to think, wow, this isn't going to last forever, actually. So, So yeah, it's important that I actually focus with that.
Are we allowed to ask what the degree is in?
It's called STEM. I think it stands for Sports, Technology, Engineering and Maths.
That makes sense, yeah.
So, but you choose different modules and you can build it however you want, really. So I can cater most of it around sport. So
nice.
Should be nice and relevant.
Yeah.
And should open a few doors hopefully when I'm done.
When
God knows how many years.
You got kind of a big future, I'm sure. I suppose with Halifax then, it's been we've had a kind of a really tough pre-season, I'm sure, with the stuff that was going on, and then now we're second in the table. We're doing quite well, aren't we? To be fair,
we're doing all right considering.
All right,
I think we're doing all right. We're doing all right considering what was going on in the pre-season. Messy pre-season. Do you know what I mean? First time I've ever had a game called off for not having enough players. It was tricky. Do you know what I mean? Like especially when you're doing, and physically, the less players you have, the less rest you get generally in a pre-season.
Yeah.
So if you've got 8 of you there, you're running every other one rather than every third run. If you've got 12 of you, if you've got 16. So it was definitely demanding, and there's nowhere when you've got 8 players. There's nowhere to hide. Everyone can see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone's got to be bang on it, and it was difficult, especially with the old manager leaving.
Yeah.
Clarkey, to be fair, Clarkey come in, and credit to Clarkey because he really did steady the ship.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
brilliant.
It would have been it was a tough time, and I think it set it up nicely for the gaffer now. Mm-hmm. And credit to Clarkey because I wouldn't want to do that task. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's hard stepping in during the season. Imagine pre-season where you got organised friendlies, you're doing runs, trying to stop people moaning for running too much. There's a lot. There's a lot to what goes on in pre-season, which I think football fans don't see.
Yeah,
and he come in and dealt with it first class. Really, he was top drawer. So,
but did it make you? I mean, there's still kind of a core group there. I mean, did it make you a bit closer altogether?
I think to be honest, I think the senior boys handle it well. I wouldn't class myself as a senior boy, but I'm bald and I've played quite a few games, so I get drafted into that group quite a fair bit.
Yeah.
But I think the senior boys, the Clarkies, Brownie, Sam, they that's a lot of responsibility, and they dealt with it well. And and to be fair to the group, no one once complained. Do you know what I mean? It was tricky. We went to Doncaster on a pre-season friendly on a Thursday afternoon.
I went to that game. It was
a Thursday afternoon?
Behind the closed doors, wasn't it?
It was a random day, wasn't it? And no one knew what we were doing until we got there, and Clarkey dealt with it there, and Brownie's, don't think Brownie played that day. No, Brownie, that he was back from injury that day.
Yeah, it was. We've got a nice picture of him ready, running around.
Kit on, they dealt with everything what was thrown their way nicely, and it definitely brought the group close together because it was a sense of we've all got to stick in this together because one person stepping out of line would have affected everything Clark was trying to do. So it was important we supported him and stuck by him really.
Brilliant. And is that kind of that closeness, is that a bit of a secret from how come we're second at the moment then? Do you reckon it's...
Yeah, definitely. I think when you got a group like that, I think you probably win games you shouldn't win. Like, I look at games this season, some games like Dagenham, we weren't great second half. We weren't when we won. I think we won 1-0, didn't we, against Dagenham? And we weren't great second half, and we stuck in everyone. I mean, you got people, wingers, running back, full-backs. No one wants to do that. You know what I mean? Their wingers don't want to track their wingers. But when you got a group who all respect each other, everyone's willing to go that extra mile. Like Barrow, I remember first half at Barrow, we weren't great. Yeah, couldn't get to it. I think it was on a bank holiday Monday, weren't we? Everyone was looking around, feeling a bit tired. Yeah, we weren't great first half. I think we won it. We conceded early, didn't we? Conceded early.
Yeah, very early.
Very early goals.
30 seconds in on it. Yeah,
and I think if you don't have a tight knit group, you've got no chance of going back out there second half and turn that one round 2-1.
Yeah.
So that, I think there's times throughout the season you'll look back and we as a group of fans will think that's when that team spirit really stuck together. Like Tuesday night was by no means pretty. Do you know what I mean?
But it's still a victory. I mean, you reacted so
when
well.
When you've been 3 on a bounce without scoring, without winning the game, it's important that it doesn't matter how you get there. You just get them 3 points over the line, back on the league rather than the FA Cup. So it was important that we went there and got that, especially after Saturday. So that's a real lift for everyone. Do you know what I mean? Just take and in essence, it takes a weight off our shoulders because no one wants to be carrying that round. We haven't won in a few games.
Yeah.
So it was important, and games like that are when you see the team spirit. When like Macca's come back for his first game.
Yeah.
Lucky does that flip.
We were saying about that. Where did that come from?
Anybody in the team know he had that?
We've caught a glimpse of him doing it at training. He stuck one in the top corner of training.
Oh, was he doing it? Oh, right.
But I never thought he'd do it in a game. But we were talking on the way back. I said, there's not really a better surface than a 3G to do it on. It's a bit like them bouncy boards they use in the gymnastics anyway. So just looks at it makes you laugh every time.
Yeah.
Are you going to try one when you score? No, not give it a go.
No, he's got a background. He hasn't told any of us. There's not many people can do that, can they? Yeah, there's a background there we need to dig into. Definitely.
I think so. Yeah.
Definitely. A little gymnast there.
Brilliant. Yeah, and as well. So out of the games so far, so we've trounced teams, we've come back, we've held on. Which is the kind of game that sticks to mind? So during this season,
what was the game? Do you know what? I'd say Barnet was a real good game.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine for a person watching it would have been a good game. Like, it was one of them which was quite decent, a good game to play in. There was action. We scored 4 goals, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it was just a decent game. Like, obviously you want to keep clean sheets. Don't get me wrong. You need to concede 2 goals, but we dominated. They had a 10-minute spell where they scored 2 quick goals.
Yeah.
And that's a real test of character in a group. We could have gone one way. We could have come back out half time and gone, oh God, like, terrified now because we just conceded 2 goals in 5 minutes. But testament to the group because we came out and we probably played better in the second half than we did in the first half.
Yeah.
And that was a good game. That was a real good game because they played well. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team. They passed it around nicely.
Yeah.
And we matched them. We pressed well. We took our chances. But yeah, that was. I really enjoyed that game actually. Yeah, but it's not.
It was a bit crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a real mad game.
Especially on social media, it was like there was goals going left, right, and centre. So I had to put all that through. But
it was 8 minutes.
8 minutes. It was crazy.
It was 8 minutes.
There was a lot of goals, wasn't there? And it's one of them you look back on in the season, and you think, God, that was quite a good game. That. Like you look like when you're a fan, you look back and think that was a good game. I'm glad I went to that one.
Yeah.
Like got a blade in it.
Yeah, got a blade. It wasn't a boring. It wasn't a 0-0, it wasn't a 1-0, it was a good game, and that's much more exciting. And at the end of the day, that brings us fans in. Do you know what I mean? It's better than. It wasn't pretty last season, and no one wants to sit there and watch a 0-0.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so it's an entertainment business, isn't it? So you've got to try and put a show on at the end of the day, and that was a fun game. Like, but to be fair, we scored 4 a few times this season, haven't we?
Yeah, against
was another good game. It was always nice to beat File.
Former player there, we won't bring that one up, but there's a former player in there.
That's nice. Yeah, so we've had a few good fun games. To be fair, can't complain this season.
But then coming back, like you say, against Barrow, and then holding on. That was quite. What was that? 3-2 was it? Oh, against Chesterfield.
Yeah, Chesterfield.
That was a nervy game.
One of the best 45 minutes I think as a team we've played at. I've seen a team play at this level. I mean, we've had some good ones when I was at other clubs, but we looked for 45 minutes. I think we went in. Were we 2-0 up or 3-0 up? Cam scored just after half time, didn't we?
That's it. Yeah.
And we went in, and that 45 was probably one of the best footballing 45s I've seen, and it was good fun. And in some ways, probably scored our third a bit too early because.
Did you sit back then? Was that the kind of plan, or was it?
I don't think we intentionally sat back, but I think sometimes, like with the best will in the world, you want to go and score again, but you kind of, I think it's a human nature just to take your foot off the gas a bit. Not that anyone meant to, but it's easy to sit there on the side and say, "Oh, you should have pushed for more. You should have pushed for more." But at that time, you think, "Well, we're playing well. Let's just keep doing." So you just try and maintain what you're doing because you feel like, "Oh, there's more goals going to come," and all it takes is them to up their game one gear. And you're still playing at the level you were rather than trying to improve yourself. And they nicked 1 goal. I think they scored quite late on.
Very late on. I remember it because it was really nervy.
We had a tense 5 minutes and we have 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But they're entertaining games. You know what I mean? That's what football fans want to see.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was a good game. It was a hard game. Second half.
Absolutely.
40 minutes. But when you go 3-0 up, the team's got nothing to lose. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's got absolutely nothing to lose. So you may as well chuck 3. They're at home. They're playing in front of 4,500, 5,000 fans.
Quite a lot, wasn't it?
They're not going to sit there and say, right, we're just camping on 3-0.
Yeah.
they're going to say like, well, the manager needs to bring on 3 strikers. I think they went 2 up top, left their 2 wide men wide.
And a former Halifax Town player scored as well.
Yeah.
Fondop.
It was a good goal. Do you know what I mean? It's a good finish, so can't really argue with that. But we'd be silly to expect them just to be happy with 3-0.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of football, isn't it? We had a good. You're not going to dominate. Not many games in football do you dominate for 90 minutes straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a good 55-minute spell where we were very dominant, and we were the only team looking like they score. And then the tide completely swung, and it was important that we rode the storm, and we come out with 3 points at the end of the day. That's what we needed to do. Do you know what I mean? If we'd won 1-0, everyone would have been saying brilliant result. So just because we still won the game. A win away from home, a win is a win, especially in this league. A place like Chesterfield, it's not easy to go to.
Speaking of which, then, so it was a victory. It's it's in the history books now. We've got Torquay on Saturday. How are we envisioning them? Because we haven't played them since 2017, so they're a new team. They've just been promoted as well from there.
I think that's sometimes hard playing a team which just been promoted, isn't it? Because whether they feel it or not, they'll still be in a positive frame of mind because of what happened. You always remember the last season. So how we go about, I think at the end of the day, we're at home. We've got to go and implement ourselves on the game, try and get back on track, create more chances. Because at the end of the day, if we've got the ball, they can't. If we've got the ball and we're scoring goals, they can't. Doesn't matter how many they score. What they do, because if we've got it, we're in control of the game. So we've got to. I think to be honest, we found it quite hard because teams have probably given us the respect we didn't have last year.
Okay, so because you've been winning at the start of the season.
It's very hard. All you've got to do is look at teams like Chorley. Everyone's expecting you to roll them over.
Yeah.
The longer that game goes on, the harder it is. Like, they lost 4-0 to Ebbsfleet, didn't they? But if you look at Ebbsfleet scored in the 5 minutes. So they've got to come. They can't sit in on a 1-0. So they've got to come chasing the game. So then you start when teams are coming for you. There's spaces on the pitch. Their lines high. You can get in behind them. You've actually got a chance to counter them because they're throwing bodies forward. When someone comes and sits in and leaves 11 men behind the ball for 90 minutes,
very defensive, wasn't it?
There's you can. Like looking back now, we should have done so. We should have mixed it up. We stayed we kept to plan A for the whole time, and that's the onus there is on us on the pitch. You know what I mean? We're experienced enough as a group to know maybe for 5 minutes we try it long, put it longer, and we didn't do that as a group on the pitch, and that's probably what the difference has been at home because teams are coming to us and protecting what they've got because this year a point at the Shay is a good point.
Yeah.
For an away team, a point at the Shay is a good point. And because we're then flying forward, committing man after man, because we're so desperate, because we don't want to draw, we don't want to sit on a 0-0 at the Shay.
Absolutely, in front of the home fans.
So we're then committing men forward, and it leaves holes because we're doing what teams were doing to us. Yeah. So we're leaving holes behind us, and unfortunately, at the moment, last few games teams have exploited it. But throughout the season, you might win 5 and. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we'd have drawn all 5 of them, we'd have got 5 points.
Yeah.
Whereas if we win 3 of them, we got 9 points.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, when teams come to you, you set yourself up to attack, and sometimes you're going to fail because you're going to get caught out on the break when you're trying to make your home form decent. But the problem is we've probably gone away from that. We've gone into our shells a bit, and we look a bit timid in front of goal, and we're not quite creating enough because we're worried about being countered. Yeah. In all honesty, we've probably stopped committing as many men forward because we're worried about, we don't want to lose 1-0, and like that's football. But I think people sometimes just get a bit clouded by the score and think, we should have done better. But I think we could still be playing now against Chorley. I don't think we'd have scored.
It was just one of those, wasn't it?
For 90 minutes they sat on the edge of the box, and when there's no room, you're asking your flair players to get it, and they've got 4 men round them.
Yeah.
What
can you do?
What can you do? And credit to them because they've got 11 draws this season, something like that in the chart. 10.
Yeah.
So they're not an easy team to beat.
No. Well, last season we did quite a few draws as well. Being hard to beat.
And look at us last season. We sat and we protected what we had, and it is very, very hard to be broken down when you're like that.
Yeah.
Like when you've got 2 players sitting in front of the back 4 and you're rigid, you're not asking your fullbacks to get on, you're not going to concede many goals because you're looking to nick games 1-0.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
sorry, I was going to interrupt you.
Like at the end of the day, they're not great to play in.
No.
I bet them Chorley players aren't walking off the pitch being like, well, we had a great game today. Do you know what I mean? It must be bored stiff after 4 games of doing that.
Yeah.
That's no disrespect to them, but that's, do you know what I mean? That's what you don't, like, I wouldn't want to try and play football. I don't enjoy playing football like that. You're trying to go out and showcase yourself and impress and put on a performance for everyone in the stadium. So,
do you think that's a credit then to how the whole team you guys have been playing?
I think that's a credit to how the gaffers set us up, because I don't think teams were expecting us to come at them this year. And probably away from home we're probably good because we've got a bit of both. We can soak up pressure and then just hit teams on the counter, and then when it's our turn to dominate, we can dominate. It probably sets us up well. But when teams aren't ever looking to score against you, I think it's a credit to the boys and how we started the season, but we can't hang on to that forever. So I think it's important that we learn to beat it, because if teams are going to do it, we can't sit here all season and be like, oh well, we had a go, but they kept countering us, because the best teams don't do that. So we've got to find a way around it if teams are going to do that. But I think teams will come, and hopefully, especially more towards the end of the season, teams will come when there's important points up for grabs. Teams will probably come and try and get us a bit more. So we should be able to play a more, I don't know, like just pick and choose when you go, rather than just sitting in and.
So you're looking for that plan B at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's what we've got to do as a group,
to break that wall down.
Yeah, because it's not always plain sailing in football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 teams trying to beat each other at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you don't just walk out there and go, oh well, we're definitely going to win today, because if it was that easy, it wouldn't be very fun, would it? Let's be honest, no one would come and watch.
No, absolutely.
So I think we've got to search plan B, and then search for plan B and find an effective one, because the gaffer's been trying things. You can't knock him for that.
Well, you can see his passion. Well, he came on the SHAYCAST.
Yeah,
and he's passionate. He was so passionate.
Yeah,
for it.
so I think it's just finding something what suits our group, something else which we can put into action as a group of players, because not everything works for every single player. So it's trying to make the best of what we got, and trying to get a plan B and then a plan C, and then just be as multi-dimensional as we can, so teams genuinely don't know what they come up against.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because last thing you want to do is be predictable, isn't it? Because then it's very easy to play against.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And Tom, do you have any other, or is that?
I don't think so. One thing I did want to just go slightly back on was this close-knit bunch that we've got at the minute. We've got a few of the lads that are obviously not from around the north, and you guys live together. What's that like?
It's good fun. No, it's good fun. It is good fun. We have a film night about 9:30 every night, where we get the projector on the top floor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we've been smashing through all the Denzel Washington films.
Oh, brilliant.
So no, it's good fun, and it makes you closer. Do you know what I mean? Like, me and Cam are like brothers now. We've lived together for 2 years, so we're touching 2 years. So it's definitely fun, and it makes football really enjoyable, because you see people off the pitch as well. It's not just like, oh, we're done for the day and we'll go home. We do things together. It's good. No, it's a good laugh. It's really good fun.
No,
we do stuff as a group. Yeah, no, it's good fun.
Do you like stick together on like your coach trips as well?
So, to be honest, I think we've seen more than enough of each other after by the time we go on the coach. No, usually we've got me and Ducky on one table.
Yeah.
We like to have that 4 we just keep that 4 as a 2. No one sits next to us. Loads of leg room. And we got Cam opposite us. He usually sleeps most of the time.
Right.
Yeah, and we don't really sit together. No, to be fair, Macca sits next to us. Toby's down the front with his headphones in, doing God knows what on his laptop. And so we're close, but we don't. It's nice to get.
You don't brush your teeth together now.
No. me and Cam do room together though, and I just look at him and just think, God, you're annoying. I'm sure he says the same about me.
We'll get him in next week. We'll see what he says.
Won't get much out of him.
No, that's one of the things that I always like. I would have loved to have gone on to be a footballer and do that as a career. And that was one of the things that I think I'd love. Just that closeness.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. You got to think if we didn't sign it, me and Cam would never know each other.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? You meet people from all different walks of life, and you've got no real right to know them, and you just think, wow. Live nowhere near me, but we've got so much in common. And you think it's nice. It is nice. You meet a lot of good people in football. Yeah. So it's real fun.
Yeah. No, that was just one thing I wanted to ask, because obviously we speak quite a lot. We've seen each other every weekend. And
So if you got any film recommendations, feel free to send them our way.
That was my final question. What film are you putting on tonight? What do you reckon?
I don't know. I'll leave that up to. To be fair, there's a new one.
It's Halloween, isn't it?
There's a new one on Netflix. Cam's been going on about.
Who has the Netflix account? That's the big one.
Do you know what? I think most of the time we put it on Cam's PlayStation. We plug that into the projector, and I think it's his mates. I think there's about 8 people on it, and we've got an Amazon account.
Sorry, Netflix.
We've got an Amazon account which is Cam's mate. So if we want to rent a film, we have to send Cam's mate the money for it. So we should really just put our hands in our pocket and get our own, to be honest. But what film? I can't remember what it's called. He's been going on about it as well. He's gonna some horror which has just come out on Netflix. We're going horror tonight, but Toby and Liam will never watch a horror. Ever. When it's horror time, they go, "Oh, I've seen this one. I'm going to go to bed."
It's just come out.
Come out yesterday. But no, they're good fun. They're a good group. Like we went to Alton Towers last week for Scarefest.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So that was good fun.
Oh, brilliant.
The roller coaster in the dark. So no, we do. We have a laugh as a house. It's nice, close knit.
I don't know if you've got it. If you have, FIFA, who's best?
Do you know what? We don't play FIFA, but we've been smashing COD. The new COD, we've been
nice.
Annihilating it.
Nice.
Cam is the best. Cam is a seriously good Call of Duty player. Liam, horrendous. Horrendous. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can have a good game. I'm just lacking that consistency. But Christ bless Liam. He loves it and all.
Really?
He loves it. We've got a setup up there at the moment. We've got a TV. Because we had a PlayStation and one TV, and we were taking it in turns. But now Cam's getting a bit protective because we're ruining his stats. We can't.
I'd be the same.
So we've had Liam today. Liam got a 3-game ban. I shouldn't tell you this. Liam got a 3-game ban because he just got no kills for 21 deaths. So we took the control off him, but we've now got a PlayStation on one TV and an Xbox on the other, so we can we don't ruin Cam's stats.
I'd be the same, to be fair.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
But FIFA, Liam loves FIFA, but by all accounts he's useless at it. Spends an absolute fortune on the ultimate team players things. But he's dreadful. By all accounts, his girlfriend even says it too. She needs to stop wasting your money on it. But it's something he loves. I can't take that away from him.
Just the last thing on computer games. The new Football Manager's out in a few weeks, and if you step our line, Josh, that's it. He's out. That's it. Skip training.
You won't get any troubles from me. Don't worry.
I think that'll mean that I'm kicking Gaffer out of the job. But sorry, Pete.
Good old virtual world there.
Probably better than it.
Jake, have you got anything else to mention?
I think that's everything from me.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much as always, Josh, for coming in and coming on the SHAYCAST episode 4. Like I say, Halifax are in action on Saturday against Torquay at the Shea Stadium 3 p.m. kickoff. So all that's left for me to say is up the Shayman.
Yes, come on, Shayman.
Come on, boys. Thank you very much. Cheers.